إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له، وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، وأشهد أن سيدنا ونبينا محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله وسلم وبارك عليه وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. قال تعالى: يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. وقال تعالى: يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما. All glories are to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We bear witness that there is no God worthy of deity except Allah, and Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is his last prophet and last messenger. The rules in Islam and many ayat and many ahadith of the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam had encouraged us to watch out how we speak. Many of the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, they're talking about the diseases of the tongue, afatul lisan. But there's hadith, it's very important, that tells us something else that I need to verify today or shed light on it, which is, let me start with the hadith. Uqba ibn Amir radiallahu anhu came to the Prophet ﷺ and he said, Ya Rasulullah, man najat? How can we be saved? How can we be saved from the torture? Meaning, how we can be successful in the hereafter? What should we do to be happy? Man najat? Najat of what? To be saved from what? It is not clear in the hadith, but the understanding is for us to be a najah, to be saved from any torture, from any harms, from any evil things. That's why the scholars said that a najah, to be successful, to be saved in the dunya and in the akhirah. So, what are those reasons for us to be saved in the dunya and in the akhirah? The Prophet ﷺ gave him three rules, three things. One, the Prophet ﷺ said, Amsik عليك لسانك. Hold on to your tongue. This is what I'm going to start with. If I had enough, I will go to the other two. But for people who would like to know what the other two are, the Prophet ﷺ said, أمسك عليك لسانك. Hold on to your tongue. وَلْيَسَعُكَ بَيْتُكَ. Be satisfied, have enough with whatever is in your house. In other words, be happy for what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had gave you. And the third one, وَابْكِ عَلَى خَطِيئَتِكَ. Cry, asking Allah to forgive you for your mistakes. But let's go to the first one. أمسك عليك لسانك. This is totally different than the evil of the tongue or wash out what you say. أمسك عليك لسانك. Hold on to your tongue. There is an embedded order in the hadith for you not to speak. أمسك عليك لسانك. Hold on, don't talk. So the scholar who understood this hadith this way said, don't talk about what? There are things in the Sharia that you should not talk about. An example of that, one, you should not talk about the relationship between you and your wife. Whatever happened in your house, you should not speak, period. You should not talk. The Prophet ﷺ said, the most evil people in the hereafter, those people who they talk about what happened between them and their wives. إن من أشر الناس يوم القيامة الرجل يفضي إلى زوجته وتفضي إليه ثم يصبح ينشر سرها. Whatever happened between you and your wife, this is what they call it, like a red line. You should not speak. أمسك عليك لسانك. Hold on to your tongue. You should not tell anybody whatever transpired between you and your wife. This is a bad thing. You will be, according to the hadith, one of the worst people on the hereafter. So here, I want you to know that this is not that you talk and be careful about what you're talking. No. This hadith is for me to shut up, to hold on, not to speak, period. Not to mention it, period. That's one. The second one, you should not speak about your charity. You should not go between people and say, well, you see ICK, I have donated $10,000 for it. You see that expansion, I worked on it. You see this, you see that. Don't speak about what you have done. Why? Because that is munafi al-ikhlas. That will wipe out your sincerity. That means you're looking for people, you're showing off, you're telling people, look who I am. That means you're not seeking the ajr from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You're seeking the ajr from the people to praise you, to exalt you, to thank you, to whatever. This is what they call haddul nafs, the satisfaction of your soul, that I'm bigger, I'm better. We hear people say, you know what? Last Ramadan, I recited the Quran completely 15 times, 10 times. What are you doing? What are you doing? You're wiping out all your good deed for people to praise you, for people to respect you or to love you. What? Be sincere to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Don't talk. Don't talk about your good deeds. Don't talk about your ta'at. Now, I'm talking in general. But for example, if somebody, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in the Quran, إِن تُبْدُوا الصَّدَقَاتِ أَوْ تُخْفُوهَا فَنِعِمَّا لَكُمْ. Yani, if I have to say that I have donated to this masjid $10,000 to excite some people, to invite people to do like me, to pay to this, but without me thinking inside that I need all of you to praise me or to do this, that's okay. But in general, you should be having good deed between you and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You should not go and speak about it. Well, I pray every night 25 rak'ah, 20 rak'ah. I recite the Quran. What are you doing? So this good deed that you do, or the sadaqat you do, you don't speak about it. Okay? And also, you do not give what they call minniyah. You know, so-and-so was in need, well, I lent him $1,000. And you know what? Until now, he didn't pay me back. Or I did a favor for that person. Or you see that person, he was working in such place, I put him there. Without me, he wouldn't be there. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told you in Surah Al-Baqarah, Ya ayyuha alladhina amanu. He's speaking to you. Ya ayyuha alladhina amanu. La tubtilu sadaqatikum bil-manni wal-adha. Do not wipe it out, your good deed, by making minna or by hurting people. You hurt people when you speak about them. I was in need, and he lent me $1,000, and you're going to speak behind me. You're putting me down. You're hurting me. It's not good. It's not right. You're telling people that he is in need and I helped him. You shouldn't do that. This is what they call men. You know, you're doing him a favor and you're speaking it to all people behind him or in front of him. So this is another one. The other thing is, people speak so much about how much money they have, the ornament of this life, the cars that they have, It's okay, I'm gonna see your car when you come into the parking lot. I'm gonna see your house when you invite me to your house. But it's different than we're sitting down and we're telling people, you see, I bought my house, you know, I paid $2 million for it, $1 million, this, that. I did the remodeling to my house. Don't show off. This is showing off. Why you don't show off? First of all, people are different. There are people, when you say that, people will envy you. You don't need that. People, they have an eye. You don't need that. The eye, the Prophet ﷺ said, Al-aynu haqq. The hadith of the Bukhari. Al-aynu haqq. Al-ayn can be very hurtful. It hurts you. So you're sitting down telling people about what you have. What are you doing? People who hate you, they said, look, he's bragging about what he has. Other people say, well, he's lying. Other people said, I know how he made his money. He's a thief, he's a this, he's that. All what you're gaining is a negative vibes from people. You're not gaining anything. And also, there are people who will envy you, and there are people who will they hit you with their eye. And that's not your favor. Okay? Ahmadillah. Thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and calm down. You don't have to speak. People can see. Also, to the other kind of people, you should be happy for whatever your brother has. You should be happy. If you see some brother having some good thing, say inside of you, Barakallahu lahu. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless him. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala increase him. You are responsible about yourself, but also we are responsible about what we say. Those things we should not speak about, period. It's not speaking, and be careful with what you say. Don't speak. You don't open your mouth, period. Another example, there are people they have a profession, like a doctor, an accountant, a lawyer. Sometimes I get in trouble. I go to a lawyer. Sometimes I get sick. I go to a doctor. The doctor can see in me something not good. The lawyer can know about me something not good. The accountant can see something wrong. Maybe the accountant would see that I'm working with riba, for example, billah. Maybe. I'm a sheikh. People call me up and they tell me their problem. Those people, they should not open their mouth. They should not speak, period. It is not, they should not. This is chastisement to the brothers. This is, you're violating the right of the person. You will be questioned in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The Prophet ﷺ gave us a hadith. We should pay attention to it. The Prophet ﷺ said, Ya ma'ashara, he's talking to us. Ya ma'ashara, man aslama bilisanih. You said, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah with your tongue. وَلَمَّا يَدْخُلِ الْإِيمَانُ قَلْبَهُ. Iman, you just say, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. You are Muslim by your tongue, but you do not have the strong iman in your heart. لا تتبعوا عورات المسلمين. Do not follow the mistakes of the Muslimin. ومن تتبع عورة أخيه المسلم تتبع الله عورته حتى يفضحه ولو في جوف بيته. Do not look around for people's mistakes. Sometimes you and I, we see a brother in a wrong situation. We're not perfect. None of you is perfect. None. None of you is perfect. So sometimes you could see your brother in an awful situation. in a wrong situation. Don't go around and talk about it. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will prevent from you, according to the hadith. So whoever you are, a doctor, a lawyer, a sheikh, an accountant, or just a person, you saw your brothers in a wrong situation, don't open your mouth. Period. So those are areas the Prophet ﷺ is telling us, أمسك عليك لسانك. In other words, I'm sorry to say it, but shut up. Don't talk. Don't open your mouth, period. Especially about your brothers. Another one. The Prophet ﷺ told us, some people, they said, you know what? I saw in my dream yesterday, or a week ago. You should not open your mouth about your dream. The Prophet ﷺ had prevented you, the Prophet ﷺ had prevented you from talking about your dream, especially if it was bad. Why? Because you see some dream they don't like, and you go talk to the brothers, and he will interpret it for you wrong, then he will make your life miserable. So you should not. And also you should not lie about your dream. Some people lie about their dream. So the Prophet ﷺ said, whoever lies about his dream, he will come in the judgment day and he will be asked, يَعْقِدُ بَيْنَ شَعِيرَتَيْنِ وَلَنْ يَفْعَلْ. They would have 2 pieces of hair and he said, tie him up. You couldn't do that. And you will not be able to do that. Also the Prophet ﷺ said, if you see something good in your dream, here's what the Prophet ﷺ said, if you see something good in your dream, لا تحدث به إلا من تحب. If you want, first of all, لا تحدث به. But if you have somebody who loves you and you love him and you trust him, you could talk to him about it. If you see something bad in your dream and it bothers you, get up in the morning, make 3 times on your left, يدفل عن شماله 3, and say أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم ولا تحدث به أحدا. So these are areas you should not speak about. It is not like be careful with your tongue. No, don't speak, period. Stop. You should not talk. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله العظيم لي ولكم فيا فوز المستغفرين فاستغفروه يغفر لكم إنه الغفور الرحيم وأصلي وأسلم على سيدنا ونبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. الحمد لله حمدا كثيرا طيبا مباركا فيه كما يحب ربنا ويرضى وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن سيدنا ونبينا محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله وسلم وبارك عليه وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. If your brother have trusted you with some secret, or brother comes and asks you for an advice, don't open your mouth. The Prophet ﷺ said, if your brother talked to you and he left, this will become an amana. إذا حدثك أخيك بحديث ثم التفت فهي أمانة. Amana. He trusted you with this. People sometimes get in trouble. They need some advice. They need somebody to give them some wisdom. So they come and they talk. They talk to you. And then after they talk, you can go back and say, you talk to your wife, you talk to your children, you talk to somebody. He said, you should not. Don't talk about people's problems that they have trusted you. This is amana. Do not waste the amana. Okay? A guy by the name of Aswad ibn Usayrim came to the Prophet ﷺ to the Medina. He lives in the desert. So he came to the Medina in a few days, then he decided to leave. Before he left, he came to the Prophet ﷺ. He said, Ya Rasulullah, give me an advice. The Prophet ﷺ said, Ya Aswad, هل تملك لسانك? In other words, do you control your tongue? He said, Ya Rasulullah, if I don't control my tongue, what am I going to control? He said, Ya Aswad, do you control your hand? He said, Ya Rasulullah, if I don't control my hand, what would I control? That means, yes, I do control my hand. And the Prophet ﷺ said, if you do control your tongue, لا تقل به إلا خيرا ولا تمد يدك إلا لمعروف. If you really control your tongue, don't you ever say anything unless it's good. And do not reach out with your hand except to something that is good. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله العظيم لي ولكم فيا فوز المستغفرين فاستغفروه يغفر لكم إنه الغفور الرحيم. وأصلي وأسلم على سيدنا ونبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. اللهم تقبل منا وتب علينا يا أرحم الراحمين. اللهم أعنا على ذكرك وشكرك وحسن عبادتك ولا تجعلنا يا مولانا من الغافلين عن ذكرك ولا عن طاعتك. اللهم انصر عبادك المجاهدين في كل مكان. اللهم انصر عبادك المجاهدين في كل مكان. اللهم انصرهم. اللهم تقبل منهم. اللهم سدد خطاهم. اللهم ثبت الأرض من تحتهم. اللهم تقبل شهداءهم. اللهم ارحم موتاهم. اللهم اشف مرضاهم. اللهم كن معهم ولا تكن عليهم يا أرحم الراحمين. اللهم كن معهم ولا تكن عليهم يا أرحم الراحمين. اللهم اغفر لنا وارحمنا وتقبل منا وتب علينا يا أرحم الراحمين. اللهم أعنا على ذكرك وشكرك وحسن عبادتك ولا تجعلنا يا مولانا من الغافلين عن ذكرك ولا عن طاعتك. وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على سيدنا ونبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. وآخر دعوانا أن الحمد لله رب العالمين. أقم الصلاة.